a dysfunctional family. I had this afternoon in the last session, I'm going to share some of those things when we talk about the healing of trauma. So I was pretty broken. And when I met Alvi, of course, I was delighted, you know, a wonderful woman. I was so much in love. And we began to plan our future, and we work hard, and we study hard. And I honestly wanted to be a good pastor, and Alvi wanted to be a good pastor's wife, and we did well. We came to the States, we got a master in divinity from Andrews University. We went back to Argentina. I worked there as a pastor for 4 years, and then we went to teach at the university in Argentina, 4 years. And decided to come back to the States. 1979, we came back to the States. We went to Texas. They gave us English-speaking churches. And after 3.5 years, the conference invited us to be the pastor for the university church. And I was feeling very good. Can you imagine that? I mean, coming from different country and being successful in the United States and being able to be there. Besides that, I already had gotten another master, and I was working on my doctoral degree. I said, wow, this is great. And I was very proud of myself. And actually, pride is one of the biggest problems, I would say the biggest problem for human beings. Isn't that right? Jesus talks about that so many times, you know. Pride, pride, pride. Don't tell me you're not proud. Because even the humble people are proud of their humbleness. There is not one person that is not proud. And unless God can cut through our pride and go to the heart, what hope do we have? You can be successful. Everybody could admire you like it happened to me, but then the family relationship was not working. I was always frustrated with Alvi. I was pointing fingers at her. I was blaming her for this and for that and for the other thing. And of course, as a pastor, everybody was admiring me. I remember that we would have 2 services in the King Church there in Southwestern, and more than 1,000 people in each service. At the end, we would be at the door, and I remember some ladies would come and hug Alvi and say, oh, Alvi, how beautiful how your husband preaches. I knew she was thinking, if he would only leave it at home. Because you can be one thing at church and another thing at home. See, and it's so easy for us to put facades, to put masks, and pretend. And I had no idea how to really change those things, you see. I was truly a carnal pastor. You understand the expression carnal? It doesn't mean that I wanted to do bad. I wanted to be a good pastor. But I was being moved. I was using basically my intelligence, my ability, my degrees, my ability to connect with the people, get things done. You see, I had a lot of things that were going fine. So I concentrated on my work, and I was doing very well. But pride in my heart. And you know, James says something very special about God. He says, God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, and He will lift you up. He will lift you up. You need to be honest. Recognize where you are. Oh, I had a hard time with that. Because I did not want people to know what I really was. I was angry many times. I was frustrated. I would say things that will hurt my wife, will hurt my children. And I remember one time at home there in that big church in Texas. And I was angry with Alvi. It was Friday. She had been cooking all day. We had a meeting with the leaders of the church the next day, Sabbath, you know, in our home. And she had prepared a lot of food. She was in the kitchen. And one of the things she had prepared was a big dish, glass dish of deviled eggs. And I was coming from the living room, and I was walking really fast, angry, frustrated, shouting. And I go into the kitchen, and Alvi had just finished washing the floor, and it was still all wet and slippery. So the moment I get to the kitchen, and I step on that floor, my 2 feet went forward. And I actually stay horizontal in the air, you know. And my arms went like a helicopter. And I hit that dish with a devil eggs really hard with my elbow. And the dish just went like this. Whoosh! And the eggs flew everywhere in the kitchen. There were little pieces of egg in the ceiling. You can imagine what the way that whole thing flew. And of course, when I hit that, I cut my arm here and I was bleeding. There were glass everywhere, eggs everywhere. I was frustrated. I was angry. I want to ask you a question now. And this question is, even the children can answer me, okay? Listen carefully. What spirit was in my heart at that moment? Was the Holy Spirit of God? You are good to discern spirits when it's in somebody else's life.